Watching movies, jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.
Welcome back to K-Flix Fiction Radio. This week we've got something a little different going on. We're not going to talk about one singular thing, but a handful of items. And these mixtape episodes, it's something I've really been excited to try out. How are you feeling about the mixtape episodes, Dustin?
I'm feeling pretty good. A little bit mixed up. We got a lot to talk about.
We do have a lot to cover today, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun because of that.
I think the first thing we wanted to talk about today, Sean, was that song, that little ditty you just heard, the intro music to this radio show.
Exactly, yes, the K-Flix Fiction Radio theme song, which is provided to us by the one and only Marshall Keep, fellow Jax Films editor, known as Marshall Does Stuff in the YouTube space. He did 3 songs for the Sandlerverse 2 video, like this amazing game show theme song. Oh man, I'm still so happy with how this one turned out.
If you haven't seen that yet, check out Sean in the Sandlerverse 2 on YouTube.
I would love that. That would be great.
He really would. He really would.
Marshall also put out a comedy album in 2022 called Consensual Hand-Holding, and here's a clip from a song called Dave off that album.
Dave, Dave, you're an asshole. I hope you die in a black hole. Dave, Dave, you're a trash fire. Your demise is my desire.
Sounds like he really likes Dave.
It's his favorite person in the world, I believe.
Thanks, Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall's the best. Anytime I ask him to do some music stuff, he's always super excited and down to just have some fun and play around and cook up something really awesome.
Well, again, thank you. We love your song. We couldn't do the show without it, that's for sure.
It's the perfect intro music. I love it so much. Gets me jazzed up for every show.
So track 2 of our little mixtape involves none other than the comedy juggernaut known as Arrested Development.
Oh man, I am so thrilled that this is in the first mixtape.
But what song are we here to talk about specifically?
Well, we're going to be talking about a couple of songs. It's one band.
Sorry, what performer from the Arrested Development universe?
We will be dealing with Dr. Funke's 100% natural good time family band solution today.
Boy, that's a mouthful.
It certainly is. I need a sip of water now.
This is a band that we see both in past and present tense in Arrested Development.
Yeah, uh-huh.
We get the flashbacks to it once upon a time, and then we come back to the present, and Tobias is trying to put it back together.
The members of the band consist of Tobias on vocals, Lindsay, his wife, on vocals and auto harp, and their daughter Maybe does the tambourine and some spoken word.
Some spoken word, that's right. She reads the list of side effects for medications that this band is pushing.
Now, let's listen to the first version of Timo Sill, the one that takes place in the mid-90s with Child Maybe.
There's no I in Timo Sill, at least not where you'd think. So together, let us make a choice, and for once we'll be in sync. Timo Sill,
Thought I didn't know you well.
Timo Sill,
But now I think we really gel.
Timo Sill,
Timo Cell may decrease your sex drive.
Timo Sill.
I love that they actually recorded that full Timo Sill jingle.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I didn't even realize that was out there. I was just watching clips from the episodes on YouTube to try to find, what we needed to talk about.
And there's a second version of the Timo Sill song when Maybe and Lindsay are no longer in the band. Replacing them is Job's wife and George Michael on the woodblock.
There's no I in Timo Sill, at least not where you'd think. So together, let's make a choice.
And for once we'll be in sync.
Timo Sill,
I never thought I knew you well.
Timo Sill,
But now I think we really gel.
no longer available. Please try the group hug bonded or consult your own wellness guide.
Temosil.
And that's just in case you don't know, that is Amy Poehler playing Job's wife in that clip.
These are these are weird ones for me to like try to musically diagnose. Sometimes we get into like, oh, like what genre? What? It's a folk song. It's obviously a folk song.
Well, when you're too sad from all of the realness, do you know what you need, Dustin? You need some Euphorazine.
No, some Euphorazine. I was wondering which one it was going to be.
Back at the model home.
All just a little bit better with Euphorazine. Stop. It is not Xanotab.
Well, maybe if I was allowed to have a Xanotab, I'd remember it's Euphorazine.
No, we are not going to do that again. This family is not about to start using.
Just a little taste of the Euphorazine. That's all you need. Just a little taste.
So many good fake drugs in Arrested Development. Xanotab and Euphorazine and I don't know if we ever get the drug name of the Forget Me Now, like the actual prescription name.
Right? Yeah, I can't remember either.
I think at one point, like Ron Howard says, like it's actually a very strong roofie or something like that.
Back to Xenotab real quick. We do have a quick snippet of that version as well.
Their motto was simple: we keep you alive.
Happy kind of life, and it's even just a little bit better with the Xanotab.
Xenotab may cause dry mouth, hair loss, an overly alert feeling, and in some cases may diminish your sex drive.
Xanotab.
I love how they all affect your sex drive.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't they?
They went the extra mile. They came up with good sounding fake drug names,
Goofy sounding songs with that auto harp.
Yeah, the auto harp is an underrated instrument. I don't know if I could name another song right now under the gun with an auto harp.
Yeah, I don't think I could either.
Yeah, so there are thousands, certainly.
Ooh, look at this, Dustin. I think somebody's calling in to talk about Arrested Development. You think we should take it?
Ooh, I think we should. It's funny, these calls come in at like seemingly non-random times.
What, are you saying that these phone calls are planned, Dustin?
Absolutely not. I would never suggest such a thing.
No, because we are live on the radio right now.
All right, take the call.
Let's take the live phone call. Hey, you're live on K-Flix Fiction Radio. From where are you calling from, and what's your name?
Hey, Sean. It's me, your friend, you and Dustin's friend, Paul. I'm calling from LA, as you know.
Oh, hey, it's Paul Getz, host of the Follow-Up Showdown.
And Arrested Development superfan, Paul Getz. Yes, oh my goodness.
Hey, brothers. Reference. You got it, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, of course you got it. That's an easy one.
Hermano.
Yes, very good. As you have said, I am an Arrested Development superfan, I guess you could say, but I am an even bigger fan of Dr. Fumke's 100% Natural Good Time Family Band Solution. So I really would not miss this.
Are you on some Euphorazine right now, Paul? You seem pretty happy.
Nice. Off the market, pal. It's so wild that a great show, a well-respected show with great comedy like Arrested Development just happened to create the greatest song of all time in the Temosil song.
Greatest,
right? Isn't that crazy?
Greatest song of all time. That's
a
stance.
A lot.
Yeah.
You're talking about the jingle from the show.
For Temosil, absolutely. And no, and not a stance, a fact. This is talking about a fact.
Is there a particular version of the song that you enjoy? The one with Job's wife or the one with Lindsay and Maybe?
Which version? Well, I mean, I have to go with the original as it was intended, which of course includes the right instrumentation. You don't need the woodblock.
Okay, fair.
The woodblock ruins it. Tobias is right. He knows what he's talking about.
He knows what he's talking about when he fires George Michael from the band, you're saying?
We don't need the woodblock. And when he hears it and says, "What is that noise?" And if you want to question me on why that's the greatest song of all time, you will be saying to yourself, post-discussion, "I've made a huge mistake." Reference. So I don't know if you want to go there, because I've got my shit ready.
Oh, so you have documents. You're ready to defend this position.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Bring
here
it
we
on.
go. All right. You want to go there? Okay. It's all there in the chorus and the notes that Tobias hits on the Temosills. Okay. We're starting the song in G major, key of God, mind you. Temosil. I'm gonna read it by the notes. G G B D. God gave beauty down.
This is going an unexpected direction.
I never thought I knew you well. BABDB. But all beholders don't behold. But now I think we really gel. BAD. And it is BAD, bad, that they don't behold. Boom. Message from God, guys. I can't believe this is the first time you're hearing about this. This is so obvious, to be honest.
Have you spun the record backward yet, Paul?
I don't need to. I heard the message the first time. I don't need to spin the record. Nobody. Okay, honestly, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little heated. I guess I'm just surprised because I thought you were having me on for the right reason.
You called in. We didn't have you.
Fair point. But I guess I just thought that you were doing this for the right reasons. You picked the best band from the show. You could have picked Jobin Franklin. You could have picked William Hung and his Hung jury. You went with the creme de la creme.
I don't think we can talk about Franklin.
Well, okay, fair enough. I agree with. But I'm just saying, I thought that you saw the greatness.
All right, this is going off the rails. We should get back to the show here, Dustin.
Well, okay, I'm just say it real quick. Say it's the best song of all time, and we'll be fine.
I'm not going to say that, Paul. Dustin, don't say that shit. Dustin, don't say
friends
that.
And just one of you says it, I will be okay. I'll be okay.
Hey, and also, you forgot the big yellow joint, okay?
I was just about to say that.
Thanks for calling, bud.
No.
Sean, I'm a little worried about him. Is he going to some weird new church or something?
Probably. What's the fucking church from that show? Did he create it and then start going there himself? Is he now a minister of that fucking church?
The Alan Tudyk church.
Yes, yeah. Her's dad? Yeah. Egg's dad? Is he's just a part of that church now, I bet.
Something's going on. That was a lot. I mean, I know our guy's a big Arrested fan, but that was out there.
Yeah, that went off the rails, man. The train went off the tracks.
Speaking of tracks, track 3 is, and this is like, I'm scared about this one, Sean, because this is like sacred territory in terms of like internet nerds, like, and amongst whom I consider myself a member. Like, I'm not disparaging internet nerds.
Right.
I feel like this is one where you got to tread extra lightly and get your facts right. We're going to talk about Star Wars, specifically the Cantina Band, otherwise known as Figrin Dan and the Modal Nodes, from the very first Star Wars movie, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
Yeah, this is a property I'm honestly not super familiar with. This is the third time that I've seen Star Wars A New Hope.
Oh, that's right.
I saw it once as a child. I saw it another time, maybe like 2009, and then I watched it again for this. So this is pretty uncharted territory for old Sean here.
Oh, nice. So you're in the position that I'm usually in.
Yeah, complete role reversal.
Well, real quick, what did you think?
It remains not my cup of tea.
That's
I
fair.
understand that it is not bad, and it pioneered a lot of things, and I appreciate all of the work that it did in 1977 for all of the things I get to enjoy now. The only thing Star Wars related that I've ever enjoyed is the Ewoks. I rented the living shit out of their 2 solo movies on VHS as a child, and I was obsessed with those. I didn't like any of the other stuff.
So awesome that you were into a Star Wars property. It was just that one specific thing.
They were so fun and cute.
Yeah. Oh,
I couldn't get enough.
I've seen them. They're great. So have you seen the prequels?
Yes. So I have seen episodes 1 through 7. I did not see 8 or 9.
Okay.
I have not seen any of the TV shows.
Okay. Well, you've seen a big majority of the main set of movies then. I just wondered if you had any reference for like when people talk about like how the prequels are like, bad compared to the originals. And I just didn't know if you had a frame of reference for that. So I was kind of a Star Wars kid. Like I remember when I saw the original movies, it was so cool. I was probably 8 or 9, somewhere in there. I was like being inducted into this club. Like, oh, I've seen Star Wars now. Like these are people older than me think these movies are really cool. And I saw them, the first time I saw them was on VHS. It was like the original, the release pre any sort of remastering, tinkering with the frames that George Lucas started to do in I want to say 95 or 96, which we don't need to get into the whole controversy of that, but he changed a lot of stuff.
He did. I watched New Hope on Disney, right? And Jabba the Hutt is now a completely digital creation, and it looks terrible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he replaced like big stuff. Mm-hmm. Anyway, when I got a little older, I frequented like internet Star Wars lore. So like back then, back in the 90s, pre-2014, pre the Disney acquisition of the Star Wars franchise, there was what is known as the Extended Universe, which was sort of a kind of officially endorsed collection of all the like books and other media, cartoons, stuff that wasn't the movies, but it was still considered canon, and like all these different writers kind of respected each other's changes to the universe and added to them and adapted them and stuff like that. Anyway, when Disney came along and bought Star Wars, they said, okay, all of that is now Star Wars Legends. That's a different universe. We're resetting. That stuff didn't happen. The stuff that happened was in the movies and like a few certain other things that we say happened.
They changed what was canon.
Yeah. So then that's why you get into this mix of like, when you're looking into the backstory of these guys, of Figrin Dan and the modal nodes, the stories are slightly different, although I think the canon one is still pretty close to what it's always been.
Okay.
Before we go any further, let's play a clip of the song we all know.
Oh, yeah. This is a catchy little song, honestly.
Oh, it's a hell of an earworm, and that's why I'm playing it now. I'm not even going to talk about this song directly, but like now it's in all of our heads. We're all on the same page. I stopped it, but it didn't go away.
No, certainly not.
Yeah, it's going.
This song has 2 titles, Dustin.
It has 2 titles? So the one I know is Mad About Me.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, fair enough. John Williams titled this song Cantina Band.
Oh, that's true. Okay, you're right. That on the soundtrack, because this, unlike, like other incidental songs, like this is by John Williams. This is the same guy who did the score.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, so yes, you're right. It is just called Cantina Band on the soundtrack, but in universe, as performed by not John Williams and his orchestra, but by Figrin Dan and the modal nodes, this group of aliens. Oh, by the way, these are all members of a species known as Bith.
Okay.
I saw this in multiple YouTube videos and thought they were saying Biff, like Biff Tannen from Back to the Future. So I just it's Bith, Bith.
Got it.
And they are from a planet also called Bith. And apparently they're like a music species. Like they have like super sensitive hearing of some kind. So like some larger proportion of, folks from this planet get into music because they're ear aliens.
Okay.
Can I run you through the members of this here band? There are 7 Bith aliens who make up this group.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we've got Figrin Dan himself, the band leader. He plays clue horn, but also sometimes plays the Gasson string drum. Don't know what that is.
Now, I was going to ask you if you knew anything about these instruments, because I find them to be very cool looking.
One of them's like definitely a film camera or parts of a film camera. I think. Like, I don't know. Like, you only get like quick glimpses because they don't want you to piece together what it is. But yeah, it definitely looked like film gear.
Okay.
After Figrin Dan, we have Doik Nats, who plays Dorinian Beshniquel. We have Ichabel Gaunt, who plays Double Jossamer. Liren Karn on a second clue horn. Naylan Cheel on band fill. Suni Aidi on drums. Drums are a regular instrument. Tech Moore on Omnibox. I think that's the film camera looking thing. And Tedden Dahai on fanfare.
These guys do have a secondary song in the movie as well, Dustin.
They do, yes.
Again, this is a very smooth, catchy little jazz groove going on here.
Yeah, totally. Both of these songs are like swing tunes. We actually have a lot of, no spoilers, but we have a lot of swing in this episode.
Yeah, unplanned.
But this song, I love this song because it's just like a kind of basic swing tune with this like weird, groovy little synth bass playing underneath. I always, when I've watched this movie, and I've seen this movie probably dozens of times. That's rare for me, y'all. I don't watch a lot of things, and I don't watch a lot of things twice or 3 times. I've seen Star Wars, the original series, a lot. Every time this comes on, I get a little groove in me. I love it.
It's hard not to. It's a good groove to fall into.
We don't need to talk about the backstory of the band too much, but like this guy, Figrin Dan, he's kind of a scoundrel. I don't know if you read about him. Like he basically the reason they're there is because he has a huge gambling problem, and he got them all indentured to Jabba the Hutt. and like things just kept getting worse, and like they almost got out, and then he like gambled it away again. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in this band. I don't think Vigor and Dan's a good leader.
I did read about that. I was reading the synopsis for a short story called Not for Nothing.
That is, from what I can tell, I have not read it, but that is where we get the now official Disney canon backstory for these guys.
It's not the Star Wars legacy.
It's not like, Legends. They call it Legends, yes.
There it is.
As far as I can tell, man, it's a confusing world. The Star Wars wiki, the Wikipedia, does a good job of like basically every single page on this site has a canon version and a Legends version, and you can click between them and see information from each one, which is helpful, but it also makes it very confusing trying to like synthesize it all in your brain.
Totally fair.
But Sean, did you happen to catch the name of the genre of music that these guys play?
Did not.
It is known, and I have no idea why, and I'm not even sure who came up with the word, but it is known as jizz.
Oh, okay.
J-I-Z-Z. Like jazz, but with an I. Like jazz, but with an I. The first thing you think of when you hear jizz.
Yes, that is the first thing I think of.
Yeah, these guys play jizz, also, which is inspired by, and I think they also play a little bit of jats, J-A-T-Z.
Boy, jizz and jats?
Yeah, jazz is like the old jazz, like it's like not fashionable anymore. Apparently, it's more of like an imperial thing. Jizz is like the new going through the struggle on the ground on one of these planets. Like you're into jizz.
Man,
do you know? Just to bring it back to the music, do you know what song George Lucas played on set? The Cantina Band music wasn't written yet. It was written when they scored it much later. So in place of that, George Lucas played this.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, that makes complete sense.
So that's, if you watch it, I mean, I think somebody put this together on YouTube already, but like if you watch it, it goes to the rhythm of Benny Goodman's Sing, Sing, Sing. And it works well because they don't have mouths, really. They're just Muppets anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's like, hey, that one's not playing that part, which is definitely played by that instrument. So, Sean, these guys actually technically have a third song that's available for us to listen to.
Oh, okay. What is it from?
Sort of real life. It's from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the theme park.
Oh.
The Star Wars wing of Disneyland.
I guess they have a portion where you can go and see this band do something?
I guess there's a show, or if they probably have a friggin' cantina where they play. If you go to the Galaxy's Edge park at Disney, I guess, I've never been, you can hear this.
It certainly sounds like the other two.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It sounds a whole lot like the first song.
Yeah, that's that steel drum. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think so.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's kind of a little more chill. I like it. I could hang out with that going on.
Yeah, all three of those songs have really nice vibes to them.
So I know we're mostly here to talk about Figrin D'an and the Modal Nodes, but I did want to bring up one other song performance from Star Wars.
Great, let's do it.
This one's from Return of the Jedi, and I just want to play it because it's a song I've just always thought was really cool sounding for how simple it is. In Return of the Jedi, when they're on Jabba's sail barge going out to the Sarlacc pit, and they're gonna throw Han and Luke into it, right? They're gonna execute them by throwing them into this worm's mouth. But like while they're cruising out there, this cool like early hip hop dub tune is just playing in the background.
Is this a song in universe, or is this like a piece of John Williams' score?
It's in universe. I can't remember if it's being played by Jabba's in-house band, the Max Rebo Band, or if it's just like presumably playing on a record or something. It's definitely playing out of speakers in the barge, or it's coming from the barge itself. So I found some things that say it might be the Max Rebo Band, but I think they're just basing that on, well, that's his band, so it must be them.
Right.
But I'm not entirely sure. But I just think it's a cool little piece of music.
Yeah.
I was surprised looking back, even as many times as I've seen these things, and how much music there was in the first few movies. Because you don't really get that much later. I don't want to get into the rest of the Max Rebo Band stuff, because that's one of the things that George really screwed up in the 90s. I'll play two clips. He took this song, which originally played in Jabba's palace. And it's just cool, like it's sort of like a background song. Like you see the performers, you see Max Rebo and his singer. It's like wide shots, they're in the background. But for some reason, in the 90s remaster, when he like digitized Jabba the Hutt and all that other stuff, he replaced that song in its entirety with this. which is way more in your face. He's animated the singers, the members of this band, and they're like coming up and sticking their face in the camera.
Oh,
like it
okay.
just it takes you out of it so much. It is crazy.
I'm not as much of a fan of that. Whoa.
Yeah. That was Max. That was Max Rebo, I believe.
Okay.
That song's called Jedi Rocks, by the way.
Both versions are called Jedi Rocks?
No, the first one is called Lapti Nek.
Okay.
Like just some alien thing, like everything else. They don't say Jedi Rocks. I don't know why it's called Jedi Rocks.
All right.
I remember seeing that on the remaster, and that was like a part of my kid self died because I was like, oh, they can change this stuff, and like it might not be for the better.
All right. Well, since this isn't just a Star Wars episode, what do you say we move on to track 4, Dustin?
I am ready for that track.
Awesome. Let's cue up The Little Rascals, the 1994 classic, directed by Penelope Spheris, who we've talked about in the Wayne's World episode.
That's right.
In fact, that's the reason that we're covering The Little Rascals right now, because when we brought up The Little Rascals in the Wayne's World episode, I said, holy shit, Dustin, we could talk about the pickle song.
That's right. This still amazes me finding out, like, because, I only found out when we started talking about this, that the same person directed Wayne's World and The Little Rascals. And they're both so good in their own ways.
Oh, yeah. They're both amazing. They both have moments featuring songs where the characters are singing about money they just found or acquired.
That's true. Yeah, that is why it came up.
Yes.
I do think this is the sign of, by the way, of a great director. I think an interesting director makes kind of one type of movie really well. Mm-hmm. Wes Anderson is an interesting director. Christopher Nolan is an interesting director. But I think great directors are able to shift genres and do like radically different stuff and have you go, oh, I like both those things. And they're by the same person or the same people, because I always think of the Coen brothers when I think of great directors.
Oh, right.
Anyway, why don't we play that first Little Rascals song?
We got a dollar, we got a dollar, we got a dollar, hey, 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 hey. We got a dollar, we got a dollar, we got a dollar, hey, 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 hey.
Classic.
I loved this movie when I was a kid, and now I look at it and I'm just like, oh, it's so gosh dang cute. These kid actors, most of them did not keep acting.
Correct.
But they're great. I don't know if they just sat there and got, one line at a time of the takes they needed, because it kind of looks like they're cutting a lot, but it doesn't feel like they're cutting a lot. It doesn't feel like kid acting. It feels like kids acting. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it feels natural. It doesn't feel forced.
I just realized also, by the way, that the kid who played Buckwheat, who was singing in that clip, he's Will Smith's kid in Independence Day.
Oh, yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah.
Now, you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, this is not a fictional band. Why the hell are these guys talking about that? And, you would be right. The Little Rascals are not a fictional band. But, this is fun to talk about for a second. Plus, I fucking sing that pickle song every time I'm in the grocery store. So, you do too. Don't act like you fucking don't sing the pickle song. So let's go ahead and just cue that up and get that stuck in your head. Unlodge the Cantina Band song and put the pickles in there.
I have 2 pickles, I have 2 pickles, I have 2 pickles today. Hey, hey, do take these later, boy, and bing, big ol' like it. 2 pickles today, day.
I love that, though. That's just a kid doing kid shit.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
There's no way you could repeat that.
No.
That was a one and done. 0 chance.
Yeah.
That kid would, you could go do the improv that you just did. What a sweet movie. And I think it was cool. It was based on the old, Little Rascals were a thing in I think it started in the 20s. There was a film series called Our Gang, and then it was rebroadcast on TV later as The Little Rascals. So it was these little shorts, and I think it translated well into this movie, which is sort of sketch vignettes kind of strung together with a central plot line.
I actually used to watch those old Our Gang sketches and episodes on VHS as a kid, yeah. I had a decent amount of old black and white comedies as a child. I remember the Our Gang VHS, and I remember a lot of Abbott and Costello VHSs.
Oh, yeah. I had old cartoons.
Oh, okay.
I had a backlog of old cartoons that someone had taped from TV, like from a broadcast.
Right.
The reason I mentioned that is because I had, and I wonder if you've seen this, but it was like Abbott and Costello and the Three Stooges meet like a mummy. And it was like half cartoon and half just like their old sketch material spliced in.
Interesting. No, I don't remember that at all. I remember that all of the Abbott and Costello meets stuff, meets Frankenstein, meets Dracula.
Oh,
I remember all of those, but I don't remember this Three Stooges mummy splice job thing. I don't think I ever saw that one.
it was wild, man. It was wild. So they did those as real, like those were like live action films?
100%. Yeah, Abbott and Costello meet the Invisible Man, all of that stuff. They started crossing over
Oh.
with all of those like universal monsters. Abbott and Costello meet the Wolf Man.
I don't think I ever realized that.
Ooh, Dustin, looks like we got ourselves a second call-in for this episode.
Caller number 2.
Caller number 2.
This is a busy show. Hey, caller, you're on the air, K-Flix Fiction Radio. I assume you're calling in about Little Rascals?
Yes. Yes, I just happened to be listening to the radio, and wouldn't you know it, it's me, Zachary Mabry. I was Porky in the movie.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
that kid.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
This
hi,
is our
guys.
first celebrity call-in.
Well, I gave up acting pretty soon after, but thanks for having me. This is really exciting. I couldn't believe I heard you talking about it. It's, I just thought it'd be fun to share with you guys that there was actually a different version of the song that we did that didn't make it into the movie. There's a third version of the song
What? Really?
that not a lot of people know about. Yeah.
I had no idea. There's a third version of the Dollar and the Pickle song.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. And I'm prepared to sing it for you. I didn't sing it in the movie, of course. It was all buckwheat, but I remember the words. So yeah, would you guys like to hear that?
Yes, very much so. Dustin, would you like to hear this?
Oh my God, yeah.
All right, let's
Okay.
hear it, buddy.
This is so cool. This is
Okay.
this might be the first time the world will hear this.
Yeah, it's exclusive on your show. Here we go. There's no I in Timo Sil.
Oh, God damn
At
it.
least not where you
God
think.
damn it, is this
See,
Paul?
Lyrically, it's perfect.
Paul.
Yes, it's Paul. Of course, it's Paul. And I just needed to emphasize that it's not just the music; it's the lyrics. The lyrics are perfect. You could put them in anywhere, and it's a very important song. And I need you to acknowledge it
This is insane. You call back and you're still not even talking about the big yellow joint.
because the big yellow joint is nothing. It's nothing.
All right, goodbye, Paul. Goodbye. Yeah, okay, so that was fucking Paul again.
Yeah, obviously, Paul.
That dude and his Arrested Development fascination is crazy, man.
It's a lot. It's been a lot over the years.
We know. We've worked on a fucking Arrested Development tribute web series with this guy.
It's true. Now they all know.
Yeah, now you know too. Everybody knows. Let's move on to track number 5, Dustin.
Track 5 is a movie that is probably one of the most talked about movies ever for certain reasons,
Sure.
but it's one that I have managed to never see until yesterday.
And I'm thrilled you finally got a chance to check it out. We're talking about another 1994 classic, The Crow.
That's right, The Crow, a movie about which I would say I knew 2 things, and I didn't even know one of them. If you know anything about the movie The Crow, you know that it is the film where, sadly, Brandon Lee lost his life due to poor weapons handling on set.
Tragically.
Something that we thought was a very long time ago tale until recently when it happened all over again on the set of Rust.
Ooh, yeah.
So that incident was in my head the whole time watching this. You can't not think about it. You can't watch this guy's performance and go, this is the last thing you ever committed to film.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to me that they released it. Like, I don't know if they would finish it now, but again, they tried to start shooting Rust again, so I don't know. It is wild that he had filmed almost all of his scenes in the movie. I think he had 3 days left. The very beginning of the film was all that he had left to shoot.
Yeah, he was in the home stretch.
It's a crazy story. Read about it. The moral is it's why you don't send home the armorer and you don't skimp on who you hire as the armorer.
Yeah.
On set if you're going to have real weapons.
It's an important position.
It's funny. We hear about stuff like this and we go, oh, a freak accident. But it's never a freak accident. It's someone tried to save money and that caused a cascade of bad things to happen. That said, the other thing that I knew sort of in my brain about this movie was that it had like a goth vibe, and I wasn't into it, and that's why I never watched it. In my head, it was an 80s movie.
Okay.
Pulling it up to watch for this, I was like, 94? Really? This movie came out after Jurassic Park. One of those things that messes with the timeline in your head. So yeah, it was a lot more, ended up being a lot more, musically at least, industrial than like gothy. I mean, there's both, for sure.
Did you know that The Crow is based on a comic book?
I did. I found that out while I was watching it. I was looking up, sort of factoids on it. And that honestly made it make a lot of sense in my head.
Oh, okay, good.
As soon as I realized it was based on a comic, I was like, oh, I get it now. He's a vengeance superhero.
Right.
He's Batman to the extreme.
Uh-huh.
Not only is he like vengeful, but he's only interested in killing those who wronged him.
Right. The comic book is created by James O'Barr. Mm-hmm. And the soundtrack, which you mentioned, was wildly successful, selling over 4 million copies in the U.S.
Yeah, huge soundtrack. I mean, James O'Barr has said that one of his favorite bands and a band that he listened to in inspiration of The Crow was The Cure.
Yes, and Joy Division, I believe.
And Joy Division. And I think they tried to get Joy Division on the soundtrack, but did not. But they did successfully get The Cure. Although the song that they brought threw me. I thought for sure when it started playing in the movie, I thought for sure it was a Trent Reznor composition. At the time, The Cure had gone through like a lineup change, and they were like looking for a new direction, and they kind of gravitated toward this industrial sound. So it's an interesting song. It sounds like The Cure, but it also sounds like Nine Inch Nails.
So we've talked about the movie, we've talked about the comic book. Now it's time we talk about the band that is in The Crow, The Hangman's Joke. They are Eric Draven's rock band. Eric Draven is played by Brandon Lee. He is the vocalist of the band. Now, Dustin, I'm going to send you a quick little picture. It is a headshot of the band. It has the names of all the band members at the bottom.
Okay.
We do not know what instruments some of these band members play. I thought it would be fun to try and figure out what instruments they play based on their names.
Okay. I like this. This is a new game.
From the photograph, we can tell that Eric Draven, of course, guitar and lead vocals.
Uh-huh.
It looks like Mo Devious could be a guitar player. I think that's a guitar he's holding.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably the lead guitar, is my guess.
Then we have Brian Harden, and it looks like he's holding a bass guitar, so we can probably assume...
He's definitely got a bass guitar in his hands. For context, if you don't have the picture pulled up, which we will post for you on our Instagram, all of the band members have signed their names or initials kind of next to their face in the photograph.
So that leaves us with two members of the band, Tex Fowler and...
Great name.
Gunnar Lance.
Better name.
So, we don't know, maybe there's a keyboard player, another guitar player. One of them's bound to be a drummer. So I was curious of your thoughts.
Well, one of them's got to be a drummer. My money's on Gunnar. Gunnar's got drummer face.
Okay.
The other guy looks too cool for a drummer.
Tex,
yeah. Gunnar Lance is definitely the drummer.
And do you think Tex, is he just another guitarist, or is he playing something crazy like keyboards, or is...
So Eric Draven plays guitar, we know that?
Well, we see him shredding on the rooftop like 2 times in the movie.
That's true, yeah.
Just doing epic solos. So I gotta assume he's playing at least a rhythm guitar in this band.
I mean, I guess if there's an era where you're gonna have 3 guitar players in your band, this is one of them. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't think of what else it could be. I'm gonna go keyboard. I'm gonna say that's not at all unusual for this style this time.
Fair enough.
What are your thoughts? Do you disagree with any of this?
I wrote down guitar or keys. That was my guess. So
yeah, you brought up the keys thing. I just think 3 guitars would be excessive for like a kind of goth sounding band. But I think having a keyboard would be totally on brand for that as well.
Right.
Cure style.
And you mentioned that we get like 5 seconds of a song in this movie. We also get some song titles. I don't know if you noticed this, but when Sarah pulls out the Hangman's Joke vinyl and it gives us the full song list for side A.
No, I didn't see that.
We have Bombadier's Ball.
Okay.
Fall Down Laughing.
Uh-huh.
New Cowboy Boots. And Fire in the Rain. The album is called Last Laugh. And I'm pretty sure when she puts the vinyl on the record player and drops the needle, she plays the last song on side 1, which would be Fire in the Rain, that features the lyrics Can't Rain All the Time.
Oh, so you're saying the title is Fire in the Rain.
Which is interesting because they recorded a full version of that song, and on the soundtrack, it is called Tracking the Prey. But then, if you go to Spotify, the Crow soundtrack has the song listed as It Can't Rain All the Time. So this fucking song has 3 different titles depending on where you're looking.
This is where you get into the weeds of like these bands don't really exist. So they're not like registered with ASCAP or anything. There's no record keeping mandated in the fictional world.
Right. So let's take a look at this song, Tracking the Prey. It Can't Rain All the Time, or Fire in the Rain, whatever you want to call it. It's written by Graham Rivel and Jane Sibry.
The sky won't fall forever, and though the night seems long, your tears.
And this really sounds a lot like a Smiths song to me. Does that register for you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like Mopey Morrissey.
Yeah, it really does.
It sounds like someone sort of karaokeing Morrissey, honestly.
Okay, I can see that.
I mean, it is actually Brandon Lee, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's not. Oh, great.
I don't know for sure. I saw some YouTube clips that were labeled Brandon Lee singing it, but I couldn't find any hardcore proof of that, so.
Well, okay. Let me dial it back. I won't shit on it, but I do. It's an underpowered vocal performance. You're totally right. They're going for a Smiths thing. Mm-hmm. A little bit of just the greater goth world, like a Joy Division vibe in there too.
Oh, totally.
But like that quavering vocal tremolo thing, that is Morrissey to a T.
So here's where my digging brings up some extra fun stuff, Dustin.
Okay.
The Crow as a franchise is pretty extensive. Are you aware of this? That it has like a bunch of movies, a new remake coming out, and it had a TV show?
Yeah, I'm literally aware of all of that. I have not consumed any of it. Obviously, I just watched The Crow, the movie, for the first time yesterday. So I read the list of things that it has spawned, and I was kind of like, wow, that's a lot.
So in 1998, there was a show called The Crow Stairway to Heaven.
Okay.
And we get some more Hangman's Joke songs from that show.
Oh, really?
I would like to play a couple of those songs. We have a new actor playing Eric Draven. It is Mark Dacascos from Double Dragon, John Wick 3. He's the chairmaster on Iron Chef America. I don't know if this is ringing any bells for you, but this guy is a big-time action star, super awesome.
Cool. No bells whatsoever, but that's awesome. I love that Iron Chef is in there.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh. Here's a song from The Crow, Stairway to Heaven, Hangman's Joke. It's called Closing Time. Not the semisonic version.
Lived 1,000 lifetimes to find a soul like yours. Soul so pure and brave.
It's like a totally different vibe, right?
What happened to it's just like butt rock now.
I know, right? Yeah.
What happened to the Smiths? Now I miss the Smiths thing.
I know. It's a total change of pace. We also have another song called Fly So High.
You're gonna scream till the brain with cameras. You're gonna flap your wings till you leave the ground. But you can only fly so high until you have to.
Oh, man.
This is like a Seven Mary 3 song.
Yes. Yeah, or like Collective Soul. It's like generic 90s rock music. Yeah. Give me something that goes down smooth. Those were from the same movie, by the way. Those two songs
TV
even
show.
sounded
TV
very
show.
different. Oh, same show. Okay.
Yes, this is all from the same TV show, The Crow, Stairway to Heaven from 1998.
Because even those two songs sounded like different bands to me.
Oh, sure. So that Fly So High song, there's another version to that. The original artist is Peter Himmelman, and here's his version of Fly So High.
You're gonna scream till the brain becomes. You're gonna flap your wings till you leave the ground. But you can only fly so high until you have to come down.
I like this a lot more.
Yeah, I do too.
Like, I like that version a lot more. That sounds like a Tom Petty track, honestly.
Oh, I can see that.
Not a number one, but it sounds like a Tom Petty track.
And if you think that we're done with Hangman's Joke songs, you'd be dead wrong, because here's one called...
You got more?
Yeah, here's one called Seven Circles.
I love you in turquoise. I love you in white. I love you in darkness. I love you in the light. I love you tomorrow. I love you today. I love you beyond what mortal words can say. I love you in fury. I love you in control. I love you in circles 7 times round my soul.
That kind of sounds like Ramble On by Led Zeppelin if it just didn't take off.
Oh.
Like if it just, like from that beginning bit, if it didn't rock out like Led Zeppelin songs do. Like if it just stayed there and ended.
Yeah. So once again, we have Peter Himmelman coming in with his version of Seven Circles.
I love you in turquoise, I love you in white. I love you in darkness, I love you in the light. I love you in torment, I love you in peace. I love you in passion with a prayer that don't cease. I love you in the desert, I love you in the rain. I love you in
I mean,
pleasure.
again, when performed by the songwriter, it's a way better song.
I agree.
Because that was a performance. The TV one just felt like, okay, here are the words. You can instantly pick the influences out, not in a bad way. That had some like Bob Dylan, Tom Waits kind of feeling to it.
I would say like a little bit of Randy Newman in the vocals.
A little bit of Randy Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Yeah. When Randy Newman goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
What you're saying about the TV versions, it reminds me of those infomercials where it's like soft rock hits of the 90s.
Yeah. Just generic music. But I'm really glad you found those original versions because I'm out here like taking a big poop on the TV ones, and then you're like, but like here it is by the guy who wrote it, and I'm like, oh, that's respectable, that's good, that's a song.
They went the classic overproduced route for the TV versions of them.
Yeah, we did it then, we do it now.
Yeah, it's never gonna stop.
That was a lot more Crow music than I thought I was going to hear tonight. I honestly didn't know it was going to go beyond, again, the 45-second recording that I heard from the movie.
Dude, I didn't think I was gonna. It's crazy. Going into this, The Crow is the most information that I had of any of these topics, and it's the littlest I had to go on going into the thing. It's crazy.
It's the smallest amount of music by far, which is saying a lot because we played those Little Rascal clips in their entirety.
Yeah.
That said, what do you say we move on to track 6, our final track?
I'm down for it. Let's do it, buddy.
We're talking about another movie that's dark in its own way, but it's a lot funnier than The Crow. We're talking about Jim Carrey's The Mask. Same year, though, 94.
And also based on a comic book.
Also, yes. Wow, we had a lot of
A lot of overlap.
a lot of themes that I don't think even thought about.
No, we did not plan on it. No.
Yeah, also based on a comic book. It is dark. I remember seeing it and being like, oh, this isn't Ace Ventura. Like, this isn't Dumb and Dumber. This is a little different.
But still very goofy and silly.
Very goofy, very silly, and a very big swing kind of movie because it's that Who Framed Roger Rabbit thing that we're gonna animate over live action film because it's shot on film because that's what movies are shot on. That's what we have.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So we get a couple of musical offerings in this movie. The first of which is Tina Carlisle, played by Cameron Diaz. And Tina is singing G Baby, Ain't I Good to You at the Cocobongo Club. This song was written in 1929 by Andy Rizzoff and Don Redman. And it's been covered a bunch of times by people like Ella Fitzgerald, Ray Charles, and Billie Holiday, just to throw a couple of names at you. Unfortunately, Cameron Diaz did not provide her own vocals for this song. They were done by Susan Boyd, and Susan has had a very healthy career as a voice actor and doing vocal work for for movie scores.
Oh, really?
She did work on Star Wars Old Republic and the God of War game. On the movie side of things, for the scores, she's worked on War of the Worlds, King Kong, and I Am Legend, just to name a few.
Oh, wow.
So some pretty big titles in there. And this is what the song sounds like in the movie The Mask. This is Susan Boyd as Tina Carlisle.
Love makes me treat you
man, I love this scene in the movie. First off, Cameron Diaz, total smoke show. Second off, when the mask finally sees her and starts doing those cartoon howls and the chair slams and the beating heart coming out. So funny.
You get a whole slew of effects right in that scene.
Yeah.
The effect shots are really funny to watch in this movie now because it's like when they're like dancing and stuff, the camera's got like a bit of a flow to it. Like it's not locked down completely. It's a little floaty. It follows the actors around, but anytime that they have to do like a special effect with Jim Carrey's body, it cuts to a wide and it is absolutely still. But it works. I mean, it honestly still works.
Just to loop it back to the song, I'd like to take a look at a lesser known cover that I really enjoy by Etta Jones.
Love makes me treat you the way that I do. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you? There's nothing in this world too good for a boy that's good and true. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you? I bought you a new coat for Christmas, a diamond ring, a long Cadillac car, and everything. Love makes me treat you the way that I do. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you?
Man, that is just so smooth.
Yeah. Oh man, that version's even more like sultry.
Right?
They don't make music like that anymore. Like that's such an old guy thing to say, but they really don't. No. They don't. There's not that much space in music anymore to breathe, and that's a feeling that's important. It doesn't have to be every song, but like everything's, whatever people say, like everything's too compressed now, but it really is true.
And I think that there's something to what you're saying there, Dustin, with that version by Etta being a little bit more sultry because we've seduced another caller.
Oh boy, a third caller. Maybe it's actually a second caller at least. Don't be Paul.
No, please God, don't be Paul again. All right, you are live on K-Flix. What is your name and from where are you calling?
Oh, yeah, my name's Sam Nitzer. I love the big bands, big band jazz, and I'm not going to do that. That hurts my voice. It's Paul again.
Oh, mother.
I'm calmed down. It's okay. I have a little more information that might help you appreciate, how musically sound the Team of Sil song is.
Oh my God, it's still about Team of Sil.
They knew what they were doing. Yeah, of course it is. I'm okay. It's that I love you guys, and I want you to understand. I want you to feel what I feel.
Okay, well, Paul, what do you got, man? Yeah, we'll give you a shot here.
Well, it's just that
you got to wrap up a cohesive thought, though.
Well, Tobias has the line that he feels like a Mary without a Peter and a Paul, and a malaprops, a classic Tobias malaprops, to be sure. But if you look into it, his vocal register on the song is similar to what a Mary Travers vocal would be in a Peter, Paul, and Mary song, and so that's just some evidence that musically they know what they're talking about. They've got something special. They know where it's coming from. That makes sense, right?
Okay, sure, yeah. I mean, it is a folk-inspired song. It's got 60s elements in there, to be sure.
Thank you. Yes, and then now tonight maybe you'll start having the dreams.
The what?
Dreams.
The dreams that will tell you of the future and our role in it as believers.
Believers in what?
In Team of Sil, the song specifically.
Oh my God.
All right, Dustin, Paul is not fine.
No, he's fine. Paul's great. Paul's great, and he's trying to get you great. He, me, Paul, I.
No, this is not normal.
The song, there's just no touching reference.
Oh my God.
As far as quality goes.
You're in LA. Can you like go check on him later?
Yeah, I can do that.
Swing by and see if he's hanging out with like a weird group or something. I don't know.
Look, dude, if I get over there and there's a shit ton of weird people around a homemade banana stand or something, I'm gonna fucking turn around and go back home.
Don't eat that banana.
No, God, it's gonna be laced with Temosil, like a homemade Temosil that this lunatic made. This guy's gonna be like the Arrested Development Walter White coming up with homemade antidepressants.
All right. Well, what do you say we all pop a Forget Me Now and move on to the rest of the mask?
Let's do it, buddy.
Up next, we've got a song that I always thought was an old song, but wasn't.
Me too.
At all. It was part of the swing revival of the early 90s, and it is a song called Hey Pachuco by Royal Crown Review, a band, honestly, I could not have named prior to this. When I think of like the swing revival thing of the 90s, I think specifically of Brian Setzer, formerly of the Stray Cats, did a rockabilly revival thing, and then he changed directions and decided to do a swing revival thing, and they're actually on the soundtrack of this movie with their song Straight Up. But yeah, this song, Hey Pachuco, it's just one of those songs that like I feel like it's existed for years, and it's got elements of like Looney Tunes music.
Oh, totally.
It's definitely inspired by stuff from cartoons.
Yes. I will say that I have always loved the drums in this song. And Dustin, I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it anytime they come up, but I am such a sucker for horns. I've been a huge fan of this song ever since I first saw The Mask as a kid. This has been the song that I think of when I think of the movie. Most people think of Cuban Pete, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, but
sure,
I think of this song.
That is interesting. I had a distinct distaste for like this type of music, for like swing music when I was a kid. I don't know why. I was just like, oh, I don't like this. It sounds old. And like, so listening to it again now, I was like, oh, this is a cool tune.
Oh, cool. Nice. Now, we don't get a name for the band in this movie. I've just been calling them the Coco Bongo House Band because they have the big C and the B on all of their podiums and on the drum head.
Oh, yeah, I assume that is what they are. It is actually Royal Crown Review, though.
It is, yes. Mm-hmm.
It's a real band from our world portraying the house band.
Right.
You mentioned our next song, Cuban Pete. Real quick, did you know that both this song, Hey Pachuco, and Cuban Pete were recycled as songs in the trailer of the 1997 Robin Williams Flubber?
No, I do not remember that at all.
I mean, I didn't remember it, but I read that fact. But I guess somewhere inside, maybe that's why I thought like that this song Hey Pachuco was like had just been around, because it's like I'm sure it wasn't only used in that trailer. I'm sure it was used in other commercials and stuff at the time too.
The Jim Carrey Cuban Pete version was used in the Flubber trailer. It wasn't one of the other versions. It's the Jim Carrey one.
I don't know that. It says the songs Cuban Pete and Hey Pachuco were also used. I'm guessing not the Jim Carrey version. Although, stuff happens.
Yeah, if it was the same studio, perhaps.
Listen, that's beyond the bounds of my research. I'm telling you what I'm reading here, and it's that they were both used in the trailer for Flubber.
Fair enough.
Anyway, on to Cuban Pete. And this is a song that actually has been around for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even sure when it was written, but it dates back to at least 1936. Let's hit him with a little bit of Cuban Pete from the movie first, yeah?
They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. When I play the maracas, I go chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom. Yes, sir, I'm Cuban Pete. I'm the craze of my native street. When I start to dance, everything goes chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom.
This is such a fun version of the song. I love this scene so much. I love when the cops start singing along with him, and she's like really surprised at first that she's singing. Oh man, I love this. I love the scene. I love the movie. I can't stop talking about it.
Super fun. Super fun. And it's fun. The fun thing for me in researching this was tracking the evolution of Cuban Pete. Jose Norman is the songwriter. I don't think there's a performance by him, because these were the days when songwriters and performers were two totally different groups of people usually. But the first popular version was by a group called Mantovani and his Tipica Orchestra. That version sounds, in my mind, very little like the Mask version. It goes a little like this.
You've been to the dancing shows. You've seen how the rumba goes. What rhythm, fascinating rhythm. Havana brings new...
The musical bones are still there, but the lyrics have altered.
Yeah, that is true.
That's from 1936, that one that you just played?
That one is from 1936, yes.
Okay. I have one from 1937 by Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, the Louis Armstrong version.
They call him Cuban Pete. He's the king of the rumba beat. When he plays the maracas, he go chip chick.
Now this one's a lot closer, so it changed a lot in a year's time.
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, this is more of a pop song, sure. Whereas the Mantovani one was more of a live setting, kind of thing.
Okay.
I assume you also came upon the next iteration of this song, the one that really rocketed it to popularity.
Yeah, the most known version of it, the Desi Arnaz version.
The 1946 Desi Arnaz version.
So if you like the beat, take a lesson from Cuban Pete, and I'll teach you to jiggly boom, jiggly boom, jiggly boom. See, señorita, I know that you will like the jiggly boom jig, 'cause it's the dance of Latin romance.
His wife performs on this version as well.
They call me Sally Sweet. I'm the queen of Delancey Street. When I start to dance, everything goes chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom.
Notably, Desi Arnaz, the only Cuban person that we have played doing this song. Mantovani was Italian or Italian-British. Louis Armstrong, American. Jim Carrey, Canadian.
Yeah.
I mean, that version, I guess, was super popular back in the 40s.
Yeah, sounds like it. Of course, I wouldn't know.
I wasn't around.
Nope.
But anyway, super fun that it is resurrected once again in the 90s for The Mask. I think Jim Carrey kills it. I have to wonder if he had a hand in picking that song. It just seems like something he was super into and would be super into. We can only speculate.
Dustin, now that we've gone through all of the bands and music from this first mixtape show,
Wait, let me guess what you're going to ask.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, what am I going to ask you?
Are you going to ask if I would listen to them in real life?
I was going to ask if you would tie my shoes.
Oh, shit. I thought I had that one.
No, of course I was going to ask if you would listen to them in real life.
Oh, boy. This is the hardest this question has ever been because it's a long answer. Starting from the top, starting from track 1, Marshall, the writer of our intro music. Of course I would listen to him. I would listen to him all damn day. He's the best.
Oh, yeah. You got to check out that 2022 comedy album, Consensual Hand-Holding.
That's right, because he does exist in real life.
Yes, we can enjoy full albums from Marshall Keep. They are on Spotify.
Now, as for Dr. Funke's 100% natural good time family band solution, I fucked it up again, didn't I?
No, you got it.
I got it right?
You got it right.
Oh, awesome. As for them, that's a hard one. It doesn't seem like they ever had any intention of making songs outside of the world of not just advertising.
Medical jingles, yeah.
Medical jingles, specifically. I mean, in a sense, would I? Yeah, I'd have to, because there's a lot of commercials for different pills that make you feel better or whatever.
It might be part of your prescription that you have to listen to them when you take the medication as well.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's what activates it.
So sometimes the Euphorazine isn't strong enough and you need to hear the jingle to activate the good vibes.
Moving on to Star Wars, Figrin Dan and the Modal Nodes, I would 100% listen to.
Those songs are catchy as hell.
They're catchy as hell. And a fact we didn't mention when we were talking about them, they, in the extended universe, or in the Star Wars Legends, they actually go out of their way to mention that these guys went on to, like, medium success.
Oh, good for them.
No, but like it's like more like they weren't really that big.
Oh, okay, bad for them.
Yeah, you know, it could have been better, but like basically the point they were trying to make is like, oh, there's much better music out in the galaxy at large.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny because I haven't heard a drop of it.
Yeah, well, way to not reach your full potential, you biffs.
But I personally, totally into those songs, and and it's a cool, like, again, whatever that bass instrument they're using is like totally changes what that swing groove can be. I really dig it. I would totally listen to more. Little Rascals, I mean, can we say the point is moot on that one?
I mean, certainly moot for me. I fucking sing the goddamn pickle song all the time in the grocery store, so.
Okay, fair. But in terms of like them being a band that would ever perform, I don't see that.
Yes, totally fair.
The Crow, Hangman's Joke. I want to say I would give them a shot. I like the things they're based on. I'm not super into that vocal performance. I mean, I don't know. Again, are we talking about the extended version that exists in the show? Then, I probably wouldn't be into them.
But, you know, the Smiths version, I would like to hear more of that.
Yeah. I want to hear more of that sad goth band.
More of the sad goth band, less of the 90s soft rock compilation infomercial CD.
And then finally, The Mask. And again, we have one band that is real.
Yes.
And we can listen to them. So yes, I will listen to more of Royal Crown Review. I'm so glad to hear that they're real. And I'm so glad that I listen to them now and have this new appreciation for what they're doing that I wasn't into when I was 10.
And what about Tina Carlisle?
And Tina Carlisle.
I would certainly go to the Coco Bongo Club to watch Tina Carlisle and
hell
the house band rock the joint.
That would be super fun to just go to any sort of piano club like that as it existed then.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you've been to any like modern piano bars, but it sucks.
I have, where they have like the dueling piano people.
Yeah, but it's like the crowd is like real bro-y. It's weird. It sucks.
Yeah, there's always like some bachelor and bachelorette parties at one of those.
Totally. Yes. There's nothing wrong with the concept. It's ruined by the people who frequent it.
Yes, yeah, as most things are.
Fair. Wow, Sean, that was a fun one, and that was a lot we just went through. I mean, the Paul stuff aside.
Oh, God bless it. I can't believe that guy. What a lunatic with his love for Arrested Development. That's a little bit far, honestly.
No, I wish I could say unexpected, but
no, it's totally not.
Somebody was going to do it. No, it's on brand.
Yeah, we really should have known starting the episode off with the Arrested that we were going to get trolled by old Paul today.
How did he keep getting to the top of the line?
I think he paid off somebody behind the board.
There's somebody back there?
Yeah, dude, somebody's screening the calls. You didn't know that? We got Jerry back there screening calls. Have you not met Jerry yet?
I didn't know we had a Jerry.
He's the only, yes, it's his only job is screening the calls.
Jerry shows up every time we record to take calls. Wow, thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's a good guy. Outside of fucking putting Paul in the episode a whole bunch today.
Well, hey, everybody. It's been real fun doing this new concept. Thanks for hanging with us in the mixtape episode. And I think there will be more of these in the future.
I hope so. I had a lot of fun today. I hope you had fun listening to it.
As we always say, wherever you're listening, if you could give us a rating or a review, it would help us keep the lights on and keep Jerry paid.
Catch all of our episodes at fictionradiopod.com. You can get the links to all of our social media there as well. You can see that picture of Hangman's joke on our Instagram.
That's right. And drop us a line at fictionradiopod@gmail.com if you have ideas for something we should cover in the future, or we would just love to hear anything. Tell us what episodes you like, which ones maybe you don't like so much, and we'll try to do more of the good stuff.
See you next week on K-Flix Fiction Radio.
Watching movies and jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.